What's up, YouTube? It's me, the Artisan MC, and today I'm going to give you my reaction and review to X-Men 97, Season 2, Episode 9, Survival of the Fittest. I just finished this episode, and I feel like something is missing. I really do. I feel like something is missing. It didn't really have a strong enough point to hold on to make it, dare I say, worth the time that I invested in the show. Now, unfortunately, one event in this show was spoiled for me because I was out of town on vacation and I didn't watch any television. So a piece of this got spoiled for me, which prompted me to go ahead and watch it while I was home. And I can say that piece made no real sense. For me, it didn't have a comic book basis, which means it was completely off book. If somebody can show me where that happened in the comics, I'd be more than willing to accept it. But in the meantime, it's kind of bullshit to me. Now, this episode sees the X-Men caring for Gambit with Apocalypse inside of his head, and Rogue, Nightcrawler, and Beast on a mission to find ship, which crashed in Atlantic Ocean or something like that during season 1 of, or not season 1, during the previous season of X-Men, the original X-Men cartoon. Now, Hank McCoy getting in here with his tablet that he got from Ship, he is able to revive Ship and ask Ship some questions. Questions being, how can they stop Apocalypse? Now, Ship has an answer for this, which I would think Ship would not have. It suggests something that seems a bit extreme. When the little catalyst chamber that Apocalypse or Sabanur stepped into is now reopened, and one of the X-Men are able to step through into this chamber. My understanding of how this show worked is that Apocalypse or Sabanur was destined to find that place, to find that ship, to step into that chamber. That was the purpose for all the pictograms on the wall and all that. That all of that was foretold. What was not foretold on the walls then was Rogue stepping into this chamber to stop Apocalypse. I would have thought that was pretty significant in a whole timey-wimey kind of way. And since it wasn't there, that was not supposed to happen. Now we're into this one writer, not Bo DeMayo, making up their own shit. Now, Rogue steps into the chamber and comes into contact with, I believe it was Isam, the Searcher. And he gives us some explaining that she's not worthy to be there. But she actually tries to appeal to a Celestial's emotions, being the power of love, which, saying that out loud right now, makes me think I was watching an episode of Sailor Moon or something. Some cheesy anime. The power of love. Like, regardless, Isam is moved by Rogue's speech, and he suggests that Rogue can get something to help save Gambit if she's willing to give up something. She has to have something to trade because now we're into a barter system. And what he had to trade was her life. She agrees to those terms, and Rogue is now given power like Apocalypse was given power and turned into a empowered by celestial energy. She gets the cape, nice costume. The tiara does look a bit like Wonder Woman, but it is what it is. You get the gist of the idea that Rogue is now empowered with celestial energy. And with a quick conversation with Kurt, she is off to go help Gambit. Now, all this in the meantime is Cable with X Factor heading to Genosha to snuff out Gambit. And Cable is the one to do it. He is really set on the fact that he has to kill Gambit to make sure Apocalypse does not survive. He is the one that defeats Apocalypse, has set it in, destiny. So that's what he is going to do. And he and Val work this deal where they show up, not with a helicarrier, but a ship that looks like it's vaguely Shi'ar or some such. It actually looked like a Klingon warbird from an older Star Trek movie. But be it no mind, the ship has a full complement of Sentinel soldiers. Now, for me, I thought that was completely tone deaf for X Factor to show up, make a big deal that the X-Men are harboring a weapon of mass destruction, be it Apocalypse, and they need to take him out before he can cause any harm to anybody. To the island of Genosha, who was eradicated by a wild Sentinel, and they show up with human beings in Sentinel armor to fight the X-Men. That sounds monumentally stupid and very tone deaf because they just declared war on a sovereign nation. Now, the fight goes about how you would expect the fight to go. Human beings in mech suits fighting Homo superior's best in the X-Men. Does not go good for them. But this is more set dressing for me of the fact that the writing here is really thin. Because once again, I'm being given the bread and circuses, the spectrum key of theater that people get so fascinated by and don't realize that giving you all this flashing lights and bells and whistles because there is no story underpinning this very much. Now, another thing that I noticed in this that bothers me is the unoriginality of people. And this is something that just drives me crazy on a daily, especially people who just like to copy stuff. We get a scene that was similar to the first season of X-Men where the X-Jet is destroyed, everybody's falling through the sky with the greatest of ease, and Cyclops does not need to shoot, but he uses his optic blast to slow his fall and land, ready to fight the Sentinels. Well, in this episode, Cable gets a chance to do this in getting into X-Corp Tower. And he just uses his big gun to basically slow his fall, blowing holes in the floor and slow down. Now, this, for me, is taking a lot away from Cable. Okay? Cable is a telepath and a telekinetic. He did not need to use his gun to slow his fall. If Jean Grey could float around using her telekinetics, what do you think her stepson can do? Doesn't really need to use his gun. Now, most people would say, well, he's using his telekinetics to keep the techno-organic virus at bay. Yeah, but he can do small stuff. And he's small enough to slow his fall. But no, he's sent out there like a toy soldier by Val Cooper, who we would never be following, just to go run in there and do his I need to kill Gambit thing. Now, this is also seeming trite to me because in the original X-Men cartoon, we already did that with Bishop. The Gambit is the key to screwing up everything, so we need to kill Gambit. None of this is seeming original. Now, while this is not original, it is the only way that they're going to have any chance of destroying Apocalypse. Why they don't think further ahead to what it means for them to do this, I don't know. Now, the X-Men and X-Force and X-Factor kind of fight back and forth to the point that Cable actually gets to the room to kill Gambit. And Gambit, by this point, has revived. He's up. He's helping out Bishop and Polaris take on the other members of X Factor. She's Siren, Strong Guy, Multiple Man. You know, they're having a nightbound drag out, and Gambit shows up and turns the tide. Well, since Cable is having enough of fighting with his father and his stepmother, he does use his telekinetics on the floor and blows out a couple of windows in the floorings in 2 levels of the X-Corp Tower. And is now face to face with Xavier and Gambit in between the two. Now, although Xavier implores Cable to stop, Cable bucks Gambit one time in the face. It's like, oh, well, that might not have been smart. Because within a short order, Apocalypse rises up out of Gambit's dead body. And now he is free to take over the body and turn himself into his final form, which is a combination of Gambit's body with the coat and Apocalypse's body with the hoses. Okay. Now, mind you, as fast as I'm going through this, is about how fast the story was happening. It was. Another fight, semi for no reason, just to distract you from the fact that where is this story going? And how is Cable so stupid he wouldn't figure out if he killed Gambit that would not get rid of Apocalypse? Well, it doesn't. And Apocalypse quickly wipes the floor with all X teams affiliated in short order. Now, apart from making his long, grandiose, bloviating speeches, Rogue shows up. And Rogue shows up all celestial infused, takes off her glove, and just rushes Apocalypse, putting her hand on his face and kind of transmuting him into a jewel, like Chandra the External had a jewel. His power is all contained in the stone. And she gives the stone to Cable. Since he's been watching and dogging Apocalypse steps for so long, you can be responsible for keeping him in his prison. And then we get Rogue and Gambit being able to have a kiss. She got a cape on. He got his long coat on with Apocalypse stuff on. Awesome. Now, it is revealed to Rogue, because Gambit asked what she had to do. How did she get this power? And she said, well, she had to give up something to get this power to save him, which is now just gone. And when she looks over and sees Beast standing by an X-Jet alone, she puts two and two together and realizes that her brother, Nightcrawler, took her place. He went into the chamber and talked to Asam and decided to sacrifice his life for the peaceful future he believes they're going to have, being able to be together. He takes himself out. Now, I would have to say the speech at that moment did hit a bit because, in my view, that's what Nightcrawler would do. Nightcrawler would be the one to sacrifice himself. He's religious. He's a man of faith. And things working out for the best in his view, yes, it will, because he has faith in it. I'm not going to knock that. It did hit a little hard. Even after having that good scene last episode where he was solo in the X-Men, or anybody with an X, to see him in the following episode sacrifice himself and just go out kind of hurt a little bit. Kind of. Now we're to the end of the episode. The X-Men are together. Everybody's somewhat back to normal. And then we cut to another post-credit scene where Val Cooper is sitting in her office and she's going through files and watching the news. And you get the announcement that Graydon Creed has become president, or got elected to become president. Val Cooper thumbs to a file on Mystique, and then the door opens, and in through the door walks actual Val Cooper. She's amazed. She doesn't know what's happening, even though there's a file on her desk with a very mutant that reveals himself, which is being Mystique. And Mystique quickly shoots Val Cooper twice. Is Val Cooper dead? We don't know. It happened off camera. But it is very apparent that Mystique is now going to assume Val Cooper's identity and work herself into position to take a shot at Victor Creed, or Graydon Creed. This did happen in a comic book. Now, the only thing you don't get is the time frame of when this happened. Is it Val Cooper throughout the whole show is Mystique? Or at some later point, Val Cooper became Mystique? It's not clear when that happened, which would be nice if they tied that up. But that ends the episode, and that's supposed to be, if this is the final episode, that's supposed to be your stinger to get you to come back for season 3. For what? I was very mildly interested to see this season because Bo DeMeo did such a good job in the first season. Finding out he was taken off of the project to have someone else come in and start writing on the hit show is bothersome to me. Seeing the episodes they put together is bothersome to me. They don't understand freaking pacing, and all they do is copy. Toys crashing, explosions going off, and very thin on story. Now, because of that, I don't see season 3 being anything I need to watch. I don't. This episode was all right, but it's still leaving me with the feeling that there should be another episode coming. Because that wasn't a finish. That was a chode in a sock. Where's the A material? So, as it stands, I watched this episode. If this is to be a finale, it was a kind of boring finale. It was kind of a letdown. Because there's no real lead into where we will go next. It's just the fact Apocalypse is gone. Could you leave any breadcrumbs to come back and do a season 3? Well, the person who would do something like that is actually gone, and the rest of you don't know how to do it. Who's to say? I can say, my interest in season 3 is soft at best. Will I watch it? Of course. That's what I do. Will I like it? I don't know. Remains to be seen. But in the meanwhile, I was kind of disappointed. So that is my review of season 2, episode 9 of X-Men 97, Survival of the Fittest. Like, share, subscribe, support the stream if you feel so inclined. $ Artisan MC on Cash App or Artisan_MC on PayPal. And if you would like to check out the whole video with my commentary as I'm watching the video, go over to Shop Talk with Artisan MC on Patreon, and you can watch that. In the meantime, the show is off. They're on their break, I guess, until season 3 comes out. Thank you. So I won't have to see it that often. But it left me feeling empty. Let's just say that. If a rating you wanted, the movie left me feeling empty. That something was missing. Something was really missing. So hopefully they get it back. Maybe the other people there are good. Who the hell knows? All we can judge it by is about what they put out next. So with that, I'm out of here. I have been Artisan MC, and I will see you next time. Peace.